Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Continuing to take a look at the next week's slate. Massive matchup in the Pac-12 as the Oregon Ducks head on the road to Rice-Eccles Stadium, play the Utah Utes. Very hard team to beat at home. Kyle Whittingham, I'll start with this. Two of my favorite head coaches in the country. I love what Dan Lanning is doing at Oregon. Kyle Whittingham, with most of his top players not being able to play due to injury, keeps on rolling. This is one of the best head coaches that you see in the entire country. Really, absolutely love both these programs. Really excited to get into this matchup. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support y'all have shown for these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot, and especially the Pac-12 fans. We've had a blast talking Pac-12 football. I will die on the hill that it's the best conference in college football right now. It's been brilliant games, brilliant quarterback play. Really excited to get into it. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, let us know in the comments section how you guys are feeling about this one. Picks, predictions, keys to the game. Without further ado, Dill, going to give you the T-box. Oregon heading on the road to play the Utes. How we feeling?
Yeah, and Oregon, not a blemish in my mind in terms of what this team can be and how close they are to possibly being right there in terms of a national championship contender. That Washington game was unbelievable. Obviously, they were on the wrong side of it by a ultra narrow margin, but that team's still there. And this Utah team, I mean,
just keeps trucking, man.
It's such a weird thing they're doing. They're shutting everybody down. I think they're gearing up for a title run next year, which is awesome. I kind of love that strategy.
Oh, this is a team that can make some noise this year.
That's what I was going to say. In the meantime, even with those guys all down, they're still Utah. They're still playing a brand of football that challenges every team they play, and obviously was too much for USC. So Kyle Whittingham, he is that guy. He is as good a coach as there is probably in college football, at least just on-field management, player development, all that type of stuff. But yeah, they're coming up against an Oregon team that's loaded and playing at an ultra high level.
All right, let's start with this Oregon offense because my favorite part about this Oregon offense is they're so good at both running the football and throwing the football. You take a look, they're the number one team in the country with yards per carry. 6.2 yards per carry on average. Bucky Irvin's averaging 7.5 yards per carry. Jordan James averaging 8 yards per carry. This is a team that can run the football when they want. And when you want to load the box, try to stop the run. Bo Nix is number one in completion percentage in the country. They're averaging 8.8 yards per pass attempt. That is number 18 in the country. It's a two-dimensional offense that can win both ways, and that's why I love this Oregon offense so much.
And one big thing is this Oregon offensive line, lost some good players, but it got way more physical. I mean, these guys are tough. They're nasty. They can run power pretty consistently, move guys, open up big holes. And they're also committing to it this year in a way that I think maybe they didn't all the time last year. And I was kind of curious, USC almost went away from it. I thought they were running the ball okay against Oregon. I mean, Marshawn Lloyd was averaging, almost 12 yards a carry for most of his night, but he only ran the ball 7 times. I'm kind of interested to see if Oregon can commit to attacking this Utah team with the run game behind a really good offensive line and 2 really good running backs.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucky Irving was 185 pounds. That dude runs like he's 230 pounds. His contact balance, how hard he runs the football. And then you look, and this is what I always look to, and I look at true top national title contenders. Do they have a legit quarterback? Do they have that go-to wide receiver? Oregon checks those boxes, right? Bo Nix playing about as good as any quarterback in the country. Troy Franklin needs to get some more respect on the national landscape. I think out in Oregon, they know he's that dude. But out on the East Coast, all the talks about Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Duzan, Troy Franklin is one of the best wide receivers in the country. He's the go-to, the guy in that offense. And when you want to cover Troy, there are so many other guys that can make some noise in that passing attack. Tez Johnson becoming a real threat with the football in the space. You look at this Oregon offense, so many weapons around it, pretty much impossible to stop. Now, if there's a defense to stop it, it's this Utah Utes defense still. I know you love them. They're averaging 2.9 yards per carry given up. How you feel about this Utah Utes defense?
I mean, what Utah does so well against these Pac-12 teams that want to play athletic and in space is that everybody tackles. I mean, you watch the USC game, when wide receivers catch ball, they're almost immediately getting tackled. And that's the huge part of why this works and why what they do is so effective is that they all tackle. They're really good in space, and they don't make a ton of mistakes. I mean, you just see when USC was going to make a big play, they had to earn it. And Caleb Williams would need to throw a really, really good ball to a Taj Washington, for example. And they just give you nothing easy. In a lot of teams, like in the Pac-12, you'll see big open spaces, and you just don't see that with Utah. And that's the challenge for Oregon, is how can they create some sort of space. You saw against Washington State, they were able to do it, and they had guys running across the field wide open. It's just really, I mean, Utah brings a different element to what everyone has to kind of deal with.
When you look at a defense at the college football level, I feel like everyone wants to talk about the star player, like how many stars, how many NFL guys they have. And don't get me wrong, like Jonah Ellis is a dude up front, probably rushing the passer, like the best edge rusher in the country right now. But what it comes down to for this Utah team and why they've had so much success, you said it best, no blown coverages, they don't miss tackles, and they play with their fundamentals. And when you can do that and your 1 through 11 is playing the right way, that's why this Utah defense is so hard to score on now.
But they also have some stars this year. I mean, Cole Bishop is playing so well. I think, yeah, you mentioned Jonah Ellis. I mean, he's taking that defense up to a new level.
So, and I'm interested. I will add, like, if Oregon does struggle in some, pass protection for the tackles, they move bodies in the run game. Pass protection can be a little leaky at times. So Jonah Ellis, that is a matchup to watch. Flipping sides here, it's no secret what Utah wants to do without Cam Rising. They're running the football 62% of the time. That's number 8 in the country. Really, only the service academies running the football more. And they found something. Jaquindon Jackson, we knew him. Sione Vaki, one of the best players in college football right now.
I know we all talk about Travis Hunter as like the two-way player. I mean, like, and he's awesome. It's not a knock on him, but like maybe we should be talking about Vaki too, because you look, I mean, the way he's able to track footballs and catch them out of the backfield and then just like have a sense and a knack as a runner for someone who just doesn't do this consistently, it's like unbelievable. He's just a ball player. I don't know what else to say about him.
And I will say, Barnes probably looked the best we've seen against you. And again, you saw USC defense. I get it, but the pig farmer, like Bryce Barnes, then getting it done as well. Now, my problem is it is like really one-dimensional offense. I think Barnes makes some good throws, but they want to run the football. They're not much of a threat to attack that deeper third. And this Oregon team, especially in the front seven, like the Dan Lanning effect has taken place. Like he's gotten his guys in that front seven, 3.1 yards per carry to opposing teams, top 20 in the country, top 12 defense in scoring, right? Only allowing 16.3 points per game. It starts up front with some guys who really good on the lines of scrimmage, and Justin Jacobs coming back for Oregon, or I guess getting here after battling some injuries. Man, that's a really big jolt to that front seven for the Oregon Ducks.
And I'm excited to see what he can do, because you just like you see him. He stands out. He's long. He's athletic. You saw him filling holes hard and tough the way I think Dan Lanning wants his guys to be doing it. So to add him into the mix in just a unit that, frankly, they're rotating a lot of bodies. They're staying fresh, and they're starting to play with that like Dan Lanning aggression and what you wanted to see from him at Oregon. It's not just like everybody's playing. Yeah, they're making less mistakes. That's obviously the big thing, but the mentality seems like it's coming along, and they're smacking guys. They're making tackles. They're just playing a more heavy, aggressive defense. And I think you were waiting for that last year. It probably didn't come as quickly as people wanted it, but it looks like it's here now. And you're right. They're playing awesome. They played really pretty good against Washington. I mean, he's given a couple big plays, but that was a team that could stop that unit.
If you watch that game for Oregon against when Washington was making plays, like it was just good football, right? Michael Penix throwing dots, Roman Dusnay making plays. Like sometimes you just got to tip the cap, and that's exactly what Washington played. Some of their best football, and again, I don't think it's a knock on this defense in the back end dealing with some injuries, but they got some guys in Evan Williams. Massive rebound game, right? It definitely did not play his best football against the Huskies. I thought played extremely well against the Cougars last night. Bridges, Florence, Nico Reed. They got some guys in the back end. They'll get into the pick here. Man, I've been so wrong. I've been taking – I took USC last week against Utah. Oregon on the road at Utah. Line sitting at 4.5-point favorites for the Oregon Ducks. How are you rocking with this?
I think I got to go with Utah. I think that felt like a bit of a statement game, if you will. I think we maybe didn't quite know what they were after that bad loss to Oregon State, but I was really impressed with Bryson Barnes. I thought he played really well. I don't necessarily know that they're going to win this game, but I can see this being a close field goal style of game. And Jaquindon Jackson, if he can run the ball the way he ran it, that was by far the best I'd seen from him. If they can do something like that and Sione Vaki can hit a play or two, I think they can keep this game close. I really would be surprised if they won this just because Oregon's really, really good. But I think Rice Eccles, I think you can keep this game close.
I'm gonna do something that is so against my my college football fandom here. I'm gonna take Oregon here in the points. I hate betting against Kyle Whittingham and this Utes team at home. They're so good at home. It's gonna be rocking. This fan base, one of the best fan base in the country. Dill, I just think Oregon's too complete. And I think you're gonna see a laser.
They should be playing this game at night, not for nothing.
100%, 100% agree with that. And it's just, you look at the offense, extremely hard to stop. Like if they say they can't play some smash mouth football, they got the athletes to spread them out. And on the defensive side of the ball, this is the best defense I think Utah has played. And that is respect to Oregon State, but this Oregon front seven is really, really good. If Utah wants to run the football, I think it's going to be tough sledding, and I just don't think Bryson Barnes offers enough juice through the air. I love this Utah team, but I like this Oregon Ducks team more. Give me Oregon taking the 4.5 points. This is going to be an awesome one. I cannot wait. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas again. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.